Hey, Future Vision. I'm here with Ray Calnan. She's been a little dynamo with FLP. So I just thought we'd have a chat. We haven't got a clue what we're going to be talking about. Ray, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, but then that's the kind of thing I like. You know me. I like just doing things on the spur of the moment.
Well, the thing is, you're usually interviewing other people, so you've got a very successful show. I've been on it. A lot of us have been on your show. So, and people love your show. So that's really good. But I remember when you first come along. We won't talk about what it was, but you're in a very different line of work, and you've started walking the spiritual path, and it's. I just see it opening up all the time, and you really in your stride with it now.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Because that spiritual side has always been there, and then obviously the everyday and everything gets in, so it's always in the background. But then you get to the point where it just all starts coming back again, and it's like,
Yeah.
right, I need to be doing this, and it just all, it's like a once you get back onto it, or it's all these synchronicities start coming, all this energy, everything starts coming in, and things just keep moving and growing for you, and new opportunities coming in, and that's what I really love about it, being able to notice all these synchronicities. And one thing I've learned is to be curious.
Mm.
That is something that so many of us forget now, is to actually be curious. Rather than saying, oh, I'm not sure if that's not going to work, say, oh, I'm curious to see what would happen if I was to do this and it worked.
That's
So
interesting because people are always scared of failure and getting things wrong, and just to go and play with things and try things out is basically how I've managed to build a lot of things. And sometimes it don't work. When it does, you have mind blowing experiences, don't you?
Exactly, you do, and it's like remembering childhood, the dreams
Yes.
you had, daydreams, how you believed in magic, and everything like that. And you
Mm.
were cute. Children are curious, and we lose that. And that's one thing we kind of like have to try and get back to, is the curiosity of things, which obviously is something that FLP, future progression, future vision is. You're curious. What's happening in the future? Oh my God.
Yeah, supposing you can see the future, we're brought up to think we can't. But as soon as you put that thought, supposing I can,
Exactly.
and I can make better decisions now, just changes. You got FLP straight away, though. I remember when I first met you, you really got FLP. You really understood it immediately. So, um, you've had some interesting. I mean, you're a great teacher as well. Ray is actually an FLP trainer. She's run quite a few trainings. They've gone great feedback. People love the trainings. So
Yeah.
I remember. I'm trying to remember the story now, but I remember you had a great experience going into a future lifetime.
Yes. Yeah, it was when we were with our first sort of training we did, and you took us into our next lifetime. Now I've always in the back of my head known that I'm not, this is my last incarnation on earth. I've had 300 plus previous past lives. It's
Wow.
time for me to put my feet up. I've dealt with everything you can imagine over those 300 past incarnations. And I kind of knew in the back of my mind this was going to be like an incarnation. But when you took me into the future, oh my God, it was amazing, because I actually went back to, I don't know, you could say source, the universe. I literally was in the universe. So if you sort of like, you see all those pictures of nebuluses and all the colors and everything swirling,
Mm.
I literally was back to that. And it was just so amazing. It was like I felt so at home. I felt all this unconditional love. There were tears, there were colors. It's, I can't, you just can't explain it, because it was just so magical, so amazing. And the beauty is, because when we go into the future, we tap into that energy, and we connect that energy, and we bring that energy back with us.
Mm.
If there are ever times where I'm at a point where I'm like, oh, I feel a bit down, or life gets in the way, I
Yeah.
literally can take myself back into that space, and I'm back in that oneness with, no, knowing everything is, we're all one, everything is connected, that whole that whole energy, and that reinvigorates me in this lifetime. So, you know don't be afraid of going into the future, because even if you're not back as a human or
Mm.
another entity or whatever, you're back in the universe. It's just, I wish more people could experience it, but obviously they can't, because that's not what their future is. But it was just the most amazing experience I've ever had.
I love that. About you love coincidences. I'm actually writing a meditation at the moment to be one with the universe, to actually, because I think we're too much in everything at the moment. We get bogged down and we want all this change. It's almost like a dense energy. And when you release and you become part of everything, you let go of all them worries, you let go of all the stress, and you see everything so much clearer. Everything becomes very clear, doesn't it? I love that. And I've taken remember taking a businessman into the future, and he didn't understand it. He wanted to see his future lifetime, and he was saying a similar thing. He's gone, well, I'm just a ball of energy. I feel like I'm Tinkerbell, and this great big businessman. It's really, but do you find that going to that changes you? Because I find when I go to just being pure energy, I feel different. It
Oh,
changes me in some way.
yeah, totally. It's kind of like recalibration, I think.
Mm,
It
mm,
just kind of like gives you that different perspective, about things, about what's going on around you, how you get there, how you deal with things, how you don't deal with things, because you
mm,
don't have to deal with everything that comes into your life. You can choose not to deal with it. You have the, and I think this is what a lot of people forget. Every single one of us, mm, has the power to make our own decisions.
yeah.
Nobody, nobody else can make you or tell you to do anything. They
Mm,
can suggest it, they can force you, they can, they can threaten you. Ultimately, you have that choice
yeah.
in the end, which way you go, And a lot of people forget of taking on their own sovereignty now.
Mm,
Oh, other people are saying this, so I have to go along with this. It's like, just that, stand in your own power. And when you
mm,
connect to that universal energy, you're not worried about what other people think or are saying about you, because you're in that sense of, I'm connected, I know I'm protected, I'm loved, I can create and do anything I want to do, so why don't I
mm.
go and do it?
Love that. I love that. So it is that detachment. And I found that by going that far ahead, I kind of found I've moved away from certain people and more towards certain people who are kind of in that space where they flow through life. They're not bogged down, they're not angry, they're not round with everyone, they're not taking sides. They kind of go beyond that, and they're still supportive, and they're still very much standing their ground in life, still very much standing their ground. Like it's like a lot of us using cash. You don't need to row with everybody online if they think cards are wonderful. You don't need to get into rows. You can go into that space where you go about your business. If somebody asks you, you explain your stance, but you don't need to be angry. Because I'm finding people so angry these days, and I don't think it's a dense energy. And I think what we need to do is go to that lighter energy, that future energy, and it's clean. And it's funny because when you do, people, you say about curious, people start to get curious. I bet people have started to ask you, well, how can you just flow along like that? How can you not be bothered by the upsets we have? Because I've definitely seen you change and become more serene.
Yeah, I have, and and I did go through something where the rug was pulled out from under my feet.
Mm,
I've always said, I've had quite a blessed life. They sometimes say that to get onto your spiritual path or whatever, you need to be at the bottom, crying and crawling and God help me, etc. But no, that never happened to me. But I did have the rug pulled out from under my feet. But
mm,
because of my perspective of seeing things from an overview, okay, why is this happening? I mean, I had my little pity party for,
mm.
I call it pity party, but there was some real raw emotions and anger to, everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked, but that's human, we're supposed to express, and that's the thing that people forget as well. expressing, you know, you can't keep emotions in, you have to express
Yeah.
them. But by seeing that overview, it was kind of like, okay, this is, I can see why this has happened. Okay, I
Yeah.
can see the different people involved. Yes, you know, I'll never forgive them. No,
Mm.
sorry, no, it's not forgive them because there's not forgiving. I'll never forget what they did, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
hold it against them because in a way that has helped me
Yeah.
develop a lot more. So in a way, they've done me a favor
Mm.
because of this, and the situation's done me the favor. And I realized that the reason I went through that was because a lot of people are going through that now. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
people with what's going on today are having the rug literally pulled out from under their feet. And
Yeah.
because I've managed to get through it myself, I'm now
Mm.
able to help people that have that situation. You know, and I was lucky because of my background and that I've had a good support network around me. You know, around
Mm.
FL Future Life Progression, you know, practitioners,
Mm.
spiritual friends. You know, I've had such a good support network that when the rug was pulled out from under my feet, I had all these different people that helped me go into the future, past what you know, whatever healing to
Mm.
help me
Yeah.
as a collective. And it's something that's really sort of like, it's kind of like that uh, musical, Dear Evan Hansen. There is always somebody there for you. You are that's it. You are never alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think for you, I mean, obviously, I know a bit about what has happened to you, and it really is put the rug from under you in a dramatic way. And I remember my spiritual teacher used to say, "That's the only way the universe can get us to get on our
I
right path."
know.
Yeah, and I'd gone to her pretty broken when I went to her, kind of every bit of my life, shit, regret her every bit. You know, just I couldn't even talk to her. And she said, "Oh, that's good. You'll get on your right path now." But yeah, it's interesting with you because I know what happened, and it's also that a lot of people fester because it was just crashingly unfair, apart from anything else. And you sometimes, but I've watched you reinvent yourself, and which I love, and that's one of the things I do love working with FLP. We can just go right. Where am I going? What's the next step? Where am I heading? So when people are in that awful, I was on a show for people that are divorced, a divorce coach, brilliant show, and I've got so many people come to me because they just go, well, that's all turned to shit. I thought I'd be married forever. What let's find the and then to take people to their next step and be able to, which is what you do with people, help them reinvent themselves and find a miles better future. It's just such rewarding work.
Oh, it is. You know, it is so amazing. You know, when you see you know your clients
Mm.
just move forward. You know, and and it's kind of like how quick it can happen as well.
Yeah.
You know, I took I somebody a future biz, so their business in a year's time. I can't remember what we call it. Your best year or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And she saw everything that was going on in that year to come.
Mm.
And afterwards, and one of the things she saw in there, she saw herself actually writing a book.
Cool, cool.
And she actually saw the, you know, the steps she was taking
Mm.
to do that book. And afterwards, she said that that year she felt so much more confident
Mm.
with the
Mm.
decision she was making. And literally within 6 months, she had published her book called Flipping the Switch. Literally
Nice.
within 6 months, she'd published.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's
You,
amazing.
you know, and again, that's her seeing the future and taking control and taking charge of what she was of what she was doing. But then sometimes you don't need to take charge, because there was another client who came to see me. She was stuck. She wasn't working. You know, she just didn't know where she was going.
Mm.
And during it, she saw herself working for this woman, for this for a company. So she had no idea what these were or anything. She wasn't actually actively looking at these. And then literally within months,
Mm.
she actually started working for the company that she saw. She got a phone call out of the blue.
Wow, that's it. Yeah, yeah,
Um, and, and again, yes, she didn't take these steps of control to actually go and look for it, but she took on that energy and she said, okay,
mm.
this energy is going to move me forward. So again, she was in control of what was happening to
Brilliant.
her when
Yeah,
when she came back. And that is the beauty of going into the future, is you're always in control. You can see, you know,
absolutely.
no future is set in stone.
Yeah,
Even when we go into the future and we see what our future can be,
mm.
that's one possible timeline.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But there could be changes on that timeline if we don't take on that energy or take the steps that we took that will take us onto another timeline, which is why I absolutely love, because the future is not set in stone.
yeah.
You, you have to create it yourself.
Yeah, and the thing is, as soon as you change your mindset and you start focusing, well, that's better. I'm in this job. I hate this job, but I've seen this other job that's so much better. As soon as you start focusing on that, you start to bring that into your reality and you start to create it. And that's when it gets really, really exciting. And it starts to happen much sooner. Oh, I saw that 6 years away. 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, all of a sudden that opportunity is there. And as you say, they start calling you up. I love the fact that they start calling you up. It's just, yeah, I love it. You've got such a good take on this. What I want to know is, where are you going from now? What are your plans for the future?
All my plans for the future, they're big.
Good.
But of course they would be. So the long main term thing, as you know, is my retreat. The retreat where
Great.
I don't, where not just I run retreats, but other people can come and run their retreats there. So that's the thing that I'm working, I'm working towards. Um, and but in between that, I've created a couple of online courses. Get to know and
Brilliant.
understand your chakras. 6 weeks to step into confidence.
Great.
I've got a membership that I'm running that's closed, but it's going to be reopening again. On the 21st and 22nd November, I'm running a 2-day masterclass, which will involve future stuff in it.
Good.
Um, and there's so much more obviously in my show. It's been going since 2018, Angel and Destiny since 2008, and I've had some amazing guests. And not only do I do that show, but from that show, I connected with someone called Graham Williamson. And once a month, we do a show called Angels and Spirits, where we
Mm.
do live readings. So a card
Oh,
and a medium. She's a medium and leadership reading. So that's created that show. I've recently just had a couple of been interviewed as a guest on a couple of podcasts. One of them is Stella Tudor, who's one of the FLPers,
brilliant.
and a lady called Dana Fay, who the Magic podcast. Um, so I'm kind of like looking more and more to get out there and speak. And also during a session that I had with one of the other FLPers, Trudy,
Mm.
she actually took me into the future, and I ended up in a place called Corel. Now, this is a game changer thing, because it wasn't technically in the future; it ended dimensionally, which
Mm.
was kind of like, I wasn't, because actually looking at my retreat, and I ended up going somewhere completely different. But I ended up going to somewhere called Corel, which basically is kind of like your own Shangri-La, your own Nirvana. And what I found, and we get there and we actually get there through the space, through the universe,
Mm.
um, which is where all these, which is why I can see why I went to the future, to see that future self, because that's part of what involves in getting people to corral, is going into the universe, the oneness. But once we're there, literally people, I'm able to take people backwards, forwards in time, other dimensions, open up different portals.
Yeah.
And that's all come in. And so I'm kind of like trying to focus more on that side now.
Brilliant.
You know, and harmonics have come in as well with that, which is kind of
That's
like,
coming up a lot at the minute. Yeah. Yeah. No,
oh,
I'm sorry, I'm butting in, but my book, Cosmic Energy, that I wrote good 10 years ago, is being reissued. It's going to be called Manifesting with Cosmic Energy. And what the publisher, and I'm not with them anymore, but they said, do you mind if we re-release this? This is one of the things that can happen when you work with the future. That book sold very, very, very well. It did really well. But they reckon it's more of a hot topic now than it was then. And you can be a bit ahead of yourself. And I did mention to do with sound and color and various things. And how I wrote that book was going 100, 200 years in the future to find out what we know then that we need to know now. And so that's why the book's more relevant. We're starting, and harmonics is coming up a lot at the moment. It's as if when we're ready, the information suddenly goes, here you are, here you are, here you are.
yeah. Exactly. You know, and you know, over the years, you know, it's been called many things, you know, speaking in tongues and light language. And for me, it is harmonics, because I don't, it's kind of like whatever the person needs are the sounds and the words that come out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not a particular language as such. It could be any different, and it changes each
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
Which is what I absolutely love, you know, and you know, the benefits people are getting from it is
mm,
so much more multidimensional.
yeah,
It's affecting them on a much deeper level, on a cellular
yeah.
level, on an energy level, which I find absolutely, you know, amazing, because I love when I see all these things happening, because it's like, yes,
You get the confirmation, don't you? You get the by things that happen when you're working with people, you get the confirmation, and that's I love that we get that. You go, see, see,
exactly.
you know, outrageous things, and you just go, oh, that can never, ah, it's just happened. Yeah, where the so Ray, how can people contact you? Where can they find you?
You can find me on all social media under Radiant Angel Energy. Yeah, if you type in Radiant Angel Energy, I should literally be the only person that comes up.
Good,
I'd be
good.
disappointed if somebody else did, but I should be the only person
Well,
that
I'll
comes up.
put your, if you give us your website, send me over your website. I'll make sure it's in the links. I'll make sure it's there so people can contact you, and from there they can sign up, copy, you know, go onto your
Yeah.
Facebook, blah, blah. They'll find you from there. But I'll put that in. But yeah, Ray, it's been a total joy. You're always got this lovely energy. And I just think I feel like you've come such a long way, but you're only just starting. So yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
Oh, it is, you know, and that's something that people need to remember. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. There is so much good stuff happening. The energy is changing so much as
Yeah,
more and
it
more
is.
people, as you
Yeah, it
said,
is.
are kind of like now getting into that more positive energy, taking back control, knowing they're not alone. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need to be isolated. There are people, angels, guides, whatever, you know, there's always somebody or something around you. And
yeah.
the more people remembering that and understanding that we are changing the future.
We absolutely are. We're creating it. It's brilliant. Ray, you're always a joy. Thank you so much, and we shall talk again.
We shall. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.